Mycorrhizal networks are a communication system that also share nutrients through their roots in the soil. Essentially, the old trees nurture the young trees to provide them with the food and water they need to help them grow, which is why we call them mother trees. Mother trees share wisdom with their saplings on how to survive in an ever-changing climate, as well as what is beneficial and what is not for the health of their species. An interesting fact about these networks is that the chemicals that are used for these plants to communicate are identical to neurotransmitters in the human brain.
Trees and forests are all part of the natural ecosystems that we depend on and we are part of. In modern times, it feels often like we are separate from nature, but the reality is that we are still part of these ecosystems. We are part of nature and we depend on trees and other beings, and they offer tremendous benefits from providing clean water, clean air, moderating the flow of water, storing carbon, sequestering carbon, particularly now that we are in this climate crisis. It's incredibly important to maintain forests without destroying them.
There's a lot more talk now about, people walk into the forest, into greens, and their blood pressure drops. And it's beneficial in those ways. Having places to get away from perhaps the noise, if you can, it depends how big the green area is, or to just see nature at close hand.
Big trees and old growth forests are important because this is a three-dimensional ecosystem. Many foresters want to convince us that somehow it's okay to clear cut a forest and plant young trees because it will be a forest again, but clearly a recent clear cut or very small trees cannot offer the same services.
Now we have knowledge that individual trees can sense people entering the forest, miles away. So there's communication between trees, and the idea about nurse stumps and nurse logs where trees share nutrients with others. So the more information we get like this, the more we realize that we are a little biased about what we value in sort of sentient beings, right?
It's important to find out who is responsible for planning and looking after trees in urban areas. Now, with the combination of pollution, pressure on land use in urban areas, and now climate change, it's really important to look after the health of these trees because they are under stress in urban areas.
Despite the anomalies that these urban ecosystems are, they do provide habitat for a lot of biodiversity. A lot of birds and rodents and insects and other critters depend on these urban forest ecosystems for their habitat, and they provide kind of pathways to more connected forests elsewhere. They provide a ton of other ecosystem services in addition to what they do for biodiversity.
We can really only hope that this crisis, the increasing number of climate impacts, are a wake-up call for us to realize that we are part of nature and that we really depend on intact ecosystems.
Supporting land conservancies in general is just a really important step. The more volunteer work you can put into helping to protect these ecosystems, the better off I think we'll all be. I encourage you to go out and measure big trees for the big tree registries, because measuring big trees is a lot of fun and you'll learn a lot about the ecosystems in your own backyard by doing so.